Being single at Christmas sucks because it brings attention to our loneliness. We sit there and swipe on Instagram and we see couples photo after couples photo after couples Christmas photo. And we go to events where we look around and it just feels like everyone else has somebody but us. And then when we go to leave at the end of the night, everyone else is going home with their partner and we're leaving on our own. And this is where those thoughts come to the surface that usually are just kept at bay, but tonight of all nights, they're going to creep in. And it is those times where it's like, nobody loves you. And if it gets real bad, you're going to die alone. And these are those miserable moments that really get brought home during the festive season. And I, for one, remember this because I grew up being single for a very long time. I didn't have my first girlfriend till I was in my sort of early mid-20s. And every year I would come home single. And my sister, to be fair to her, she always had a boyfriend. And I just felt that loneliness and it kept going. And do you know what makes it worse? That each of these guys that are single today on Christmas, the majority of them are going to be single again next year because we repeat our patterns of behavior, even down to our relationship status, because we're constructing this identity that we are single. That's almost who we are. And to try and break that pattern, to have that pattern interrupt, gets more and more difficult the more we solidify that identity. And this might all sound pretty miserable, but I'm here to tell you there is a way out. So on this magical day that is Christmas, I'm going to show you what that way out is. And for each and every one of you watching, stay till the end and I'm going to give you a gift. Because right now, you might have all these reasons for why you're single, and it might be that, oh, the dating market's just so difficult right now. There's dating apps, there's high expectations from girls. Or maybe you have these reasons about yourself that, oh, the relationships I had with my parents weren't good. It's how I look, it's who I am. And there's all these things that are getting in the way of what you believe to be your path to having a relationship. And the way out that I have found can be summarized in one single word, and that is agency. For a man to begin to shift his perceptions from all of these other reasons, they're why I'm not single, those things that are out of my control, that's why I'm single. Well, what happens during this process is he shifts the power to those other things, and now that has power over him. Maybe it is the fact that he's saying that, oh, well, the dating market just sucks, so that's why I'm single. Okay, well, what are you going to do about that? Because at the end of the day, whatever these reasons lead you to of why you're single, if you allow that just to be the core reason, but you're still single, your life isn't getting any better. The man that is able to take on responsibility for his situation and not be like a plastic bag getting battered around in the wind, to be someone that has that internal locus of control, he's the attractive man, the man that can stand up to the world and sort of be the guy that walks through a hurricane and comes out the other side. I'm pretty sure that's what they used to describe John Wick, but I'm stealing it. So being the man that doesn't get completely battered by the world and he has his own agency within it, this is the way out. And if you're sat there, you're feeling like the world has kept you as its prisoner, that everything just affects you, that it's how your relationships have always been. No, you can't seem to get on with girls. Whenever you're in those interactions, it never seems to go well. And it must be the world. It can't be you that's the problem. This will never help you. This attitude completely falls flat and leaves you a victim, just a victim. And that's not an attractive man. And it's not a life that you will ever find a way out of, to find a chance to have something meaningful. So how does this work on a practical level? Well, one of the things you can do is sit on your bed and ask yourself, what is it that I'm currently doing that is getting in the way of me having a relationship? And this is a difficult question to ask because you actually need to want to know the answer. We love to do mental gymnastics to try and hide ourselves away from the pain of realizing what our flaws are, because it hurts. It hurts to recognize the fact that we're deliberately self-sabotaging ourselves in relationships, or we're not ever trying to approach anyone, or we still have hang-ups from maybe our one relationship we ever had and we're still reeling from that and we're refusing to heal to try and keep us in that sort of place of memory. All these things that are going to be playing up for you. If you can go sit on the edge of your bed, knock the stocking out the way, and you can truly ask yourself, what is it keeping me single right now? And then look to address that. Because it is these micro changes. It's not sexy. It isn't. The process of becoming an attractive man, it gets pitched as being the most illustrious, cool, James Bond-esque process, but it isn't. It's going about finding a way to take control of your life in all these different areas. Because if you take responsibility for the fact you're single, well, it doesn't stay in isolation to that. You'll suddenly start taking responsibility for where your career's at and where your friendship circle's at. A man who takes responsibility bleeds out into everything that he does. It's the step-by-step process to build himself up. So making the micro changes and escaping the mindset that I am a victim to my circumstances is the way to then escape being perpetually single. And you might be asking me, does this really work? Well, I said earlier, I have a gift for each and every one of you. And this is it. I have the gift of hope because I'd like to introduce you to George. And this is him 1 year ago. He was incredibly low agency. He didn't feel good about himself. He'd always been single and he was really struggling. And now this is him a year later. He is so happy and he has a relationship with a really pretty girl and they're having such a good time. And this is all that he did. He managed to take responsibility for the position he was in life and start making those micro adjustments. He started deciding to do 10 press-ups a day. He decided it was his problem to deal with of who he was as a person. And he had that ability to see that he didn't have to stay that way forever. If he made these changes, you are the architect of your own life. You don't have to be a passive passenger to the story that gets told of who you are. It's like you actually have complete control. And that's not in some like hippy dippy sense. That's like in the most grounded, practical sense, you construct who you are by the actions that you do. And you can construct yourself into a man that does get the girl and does have a life that he's completely happy with. And it can be done so fast. So this is what my Christmas gift to each and every one of you that maybe is sat there, that is reeling from the fact that he's single again, because I was there for so many years. It's like, this isn't just George. This is something that I've done, and many other people that I know and clients that I've worked with have gone through this process of adopting responsibility for where they're at and then just playing that out of doing the appropriate actions, doing the self-improvement to be able to be a man who does naturally become attractive. And people gravitate to that because no one wants to take responsibility now. So if you can be that guy, you'll get the girl, you'll get the life. You will no longer feel like you're being left behind and you're isolated because you are the man that does take responsibility for his own life. So on today, this very Merry Christmassy day, I wish you that. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a high agency year.